jina Nanzara.
As you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, my name is Ernest Kambala. I am led by Senior Counsel Martha Karua, Elias Kwago, Mr. Tugume DNC Moses, Ms. Kunihira Boskovia, Mr. Uguru Silas, Mr. Renaito Peter, Bayan Kama, Tumusime Oto, Mr. Chief Michael, Mr. Sekanjaku Abubakar, Mr. Kato Wilson, Mr. Nalkola Uyimbazi Elias, Honorable Chiwanuka Abdallah, he's still on the way, Godfrey Akachimpa, Wanda Ronald Samuel, Frederick Mbanga, Apollo Katumba, Mr. Kawiye Lawrence, Mr. Sekandi Julius Paul, Mr. Samuel Muizi Mulindwa, Mr. Ivan Wowe. I think that is the list of council that are present this morning before you. I apologize. The turn over to the other side. That's the team, Mr. Chairman.
If it pleases you, Council Captain Simon Soboga Msagwa, representing Captain Olabin. We are ready to receive the ruling of court.
The Republic of Uganda, Uganda People's Defense Forces, and the General Court Martial ordered at Making. A criminal case number UPDF/GCM/040 of 2024. Uganda versus A1RO 12743 Captain Dennis Ora, A2ROV 0098 Colonel retired Dr. Chiza Besigye, A3 Haj Obeid Mutale. of the court on the objection raised to amend the charge sheet. On 13th Jan 2025, Colonel Raphael Mugisha Counsel for the State applied to amend the charge sheet by adding Captain Dennis Ora as the third accused person, and the application was allowed. When it came to pre-taking, Counsel for Colonel Retired Dr. Chiza Besigye, led by Martha Karua, Elias Lukwago, and Ernest Kalibara, raised the following objections in the bar of his trial before this court. That this court has no territorial jurisdiction to entertain charges that were allegedly committed outside Uganda. That the charge sheet was defective because it was not in accordance with the UPDF Act by mentioning defense forces that is not clear as to which defense forces was being referred to. That how the accused persons how the accused person was brought before the court did not follow the due process of the law. Counsel cited this court the case of Omar Awad Omar and 10 others versus Attorney General Consolidated Constitutional Petition number 55 and 56 of 2011, and submitted that the accused person was illegally brought here from Kenya to Uganda, having been abducted. That section 208 and 209 of the UPDF Act that appears to grant the court jurisdiction contravenes Articles 79 and 129 of the Constitution. Counsel prayed that this court finds merit in the objection and discharge the accused person. In reply, Counsel Raphael Mugisha for the State submitted that jurisdiction is a creature of the statute, and therefore Section 208 of the UPDF Act gives jurisdiction to this court to try the accused person. Counsel further submitted that the words defense forces are defined in the UPDF Act to mean Uganda People's Defense Forces, and therefore the submissions of counsel for the accused are misconceived and should be ignored by this court. Counsel further submitted that Section 117G on aiding and abetting, and H on being found in an unlawful possession of arms or ammunition brings the accused person before the jurisdiction of this court. Counsel further submitted that the accused person was brought lawfully through a memorandum of understanding between Kenya and Uganda on interstate arrangement on defense and security for offenders involved in committing or suspected to have committed serious crimes like terrorism, among others. Counsel further submitted that the constitutional provisions cited in this matter are not applicable. That is Article 23, 28, Clause 7, 12, 126, 129, and 79. Counsel further submitted that there is no deep risk in the charge sheet as alleged. In a rejoinder, counsel for the accused submitted that in the case of Omar Awad Omar, the Tanzanian case of Mataka versus R was distinguished. Counsel submitted that in a number of cases cited in Omar Awad above, where there is evidence of abduction, then the court has no jurisdiction to try the accused person. Lastly, counsel retaliated earlier prayers that the court finds merit in the objection raised and discharges the accused person. This court, after listening to the submissions of both counsel for the accused and the state, considered the relevant laws relating to this application, has deliberated on this application and finds as follows. One, that jurisdiction is a creature of statute, and Section 208 of the UPDF Act gives powers to this court to try any person who has committed an offense in Uganda and outside Uganda. Two, that there is no defect in the charge sheet because the accused is charged under Uganda law, under Ugandan law, the UPDF Act, which act clearly defines defense forces to mean Uganda People's Defense Forces. Three, on the submissions that the accused person was abducted and brought to Uganda without following due process of the law, this court finds that there is no extradition treaty between Uganda and Kenya that was breached. To the contrary, this court finds that the accused being brought to Uganda through a memorandum of understanding between Uganda and Kenya on defense and security for persons suspected to have committed serious crimes did not amount to abduction. This court has considered the consolidations of the Constitutional Court in Omar and others which were cited by counsel for the accused from paragraph 25 on page 63 to page 74 of the judgment and entirely agrees with the court. For on the submissions that section 208 and 209 of the UPDF Act that appears to grant this court jurisdiction contravenes Articles 79 and 129 of the Constitution, this court finds that it is not true that section 208 of the UPDF Act appears to grant jurisdiction, but actually gives jurisdiction to this court to try the accused person. Jurisdiction being a breach of the statute, and this court having addressed itself to the provisions of Article 79 and 129 of the Constitution, this court finds the cited articles not applicable in this application and finds that this court has jurisdiction in the case. Accordingly, the objections raised are hereby dismissed and the accused person should take plea. We so rule, done at Makinde this 14th day of Jan 2025 under my hand and seal of this court.